Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Canto 10, Chapter 25, titled Krishna Lives Govardhan Hill. Text 24 through 29, because, yes, 29 has a purport. So I'll chant the Sanskrit from 24 to 28, and then we will all chant together to verse 29. So, Krishna Yoga Nubhavam Tam Nisha. No. So I'll chant this, and I'll read through it. And you see, everybody's eager to chant. That's good. But we'll all chant together verse 29. Okay. So, okay. Krishna Yoga Nubhavam Tam Nisham Yendro Divishmitaha Nishtambo Brasta Sankalpa Shwan Megan Sanyavarayat. Translation. When Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. Pulled down from his platform of false pride and his intentions thwarted, he'd ordered his clouds to desist. Text 25. Kam vyabram uditadityam bhata varsham cha darunam nishamyo ratam gopan govardhandaro bravit. Translation. Seeing that the fierce wind and rain had now ceased, the sky had become clear of rain clouds, and the sun had risen. Lord Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, spoke to the cowherd community as follows. Text 26. Niryata tyajata trasham gopasastri danarbakaha uparatam vatavarsham vyuda prayasta nimnagaha. Lord Krishna said, "My dear cowherd men, please go out with your wives, children, and possessions. Give up your fear. The wind and rain have stopped, and the river's high waters have subsided." Text 27. Tataste niryayur gopa shvam adaya godanam sakato dopakaranam stribala stavirasanai. After collecting their respective cows and loading their paraphernalia into their wagons, the cowherd men went out. The women, children, and elderly persons gradually followed them. Text 28. Bhagavan napitam sailam swastane porvat pat prabhu pashyatam sarvabhutanam Stapayam Ashalilaya. While all living creatures looked on, the Supreme Personality of Godhead put down the hill in its original place, just as it had stood before. Okay, so now we will chant together verse 29. I'll go through the word for word. Tam Prema Vigat Nirbrittaha Raja Okashaha Yata Samiyuhu Parirambana Adibihi Gopyaha Cha Sasneham Apujayan Muda Dadi Akshata Adibi, Adibi, Yuyujuhu, Sat, Asishaha. Okay. Tam prema vegan nirbritta raja kasho. Yata samiyu parirambanadibihi. Gopyascha sa sneham apujayan muda. Dat yakshata yuju sat ashishaha. Tam prema vegan nirbritta rajokasho. Yata samiyu parirambanadibihi. Gopyascha sa sneham apujayan muda. Dat yakshatat yujusat ashishaha. Dat prema vegan nirbritta rajaukasho. Yata samiyu parirambanadibihi. Gopyascha sa sneham apujayan muda. Dat yakshatat yujusat ashishaha. Please repeat. Tam prema vegan nirbritta rajaukasho.
Yata samiyuh parirambanadibihi.
Yata samiyu parirambanadibihi.
Gopyascha sasneham apujayan muda. Dat yakshataadbhiryujus sadashishaha.
Dat yakshataadbhiryujusat ashishaha.
Prema vega nirbritta rajaukaso. Yatha samiyuha parirambanadibihi. Yasya cha sneham apujayan muda.
Ajiji. Okay. Tom, to him. Prema, of their pure love. Vegat, by the force. Nirbritaha, fulfilled. Raja Okashaha, the residence of Raja. Yata, each according to his position. Samiyuhu, came forward. Parirambana adibihi, with embracing and so forth. Gopyaha, the cowherd ladies. Cha, and Sasneham, with great affection. Abujayan, showed their respects. Muda, joyfully. Dadi, with yogurt. Akshata, unbroken grains. Adbihi, and water. Yuyujuhu, they presented. Sat, excellent. Ashishaha, benedictions. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation. All the residents of Vrindavan were overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and they came forward and greeted Sri Krishna according to their individual relationships with him, some embracing him, others bowing down to him, and so forth. The cowherd woman presented water mixed with yogurt and unbroken barley corns as a token of honor, and they showered auspicious benedictions upon him. Purport. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur explains that each of the residents of Vrindavan regarded Krishna in his own way, as an inferior, younger member of the cowherd community, as an equal, or as a superior, and they dealt with him accordingly. Krishna's superiors offered auspicious benedictions, lovingly smelled his head, kissed him, rubbed his arms and fingers, and inquired with parental affection as to whether he was tired or pained. Krishna's equals laughed or joked with him, and those who were younger fell at his feet, massaged his feet, and so on. The word cha in this verse indicates that the wives of the Brahmanas joined with the cowherd ladies to offer auspicious items like yogurt and unbroken grains. Lord Krishna received benedictions such as this: may you subdue the wicked, protect the decent people, give pleasure to your parents, and be enriched with all wealth and opulence. Oh my God. Shri Chaitanya Mano Vistam Stapidamina Bhutale Swayambhu Pakaramayam Dadati Swapadantikam Mandeyam Shri Guru Sutta Parakamaram Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sakaratam Saharam Dam Sadivam Sadvetam Savadutam Paritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sakaratam Shri Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dina Badavachaka Pate Kopashakopika Kanta Varanam Site Tata Kanta Kuranki Kate Vinamani Sri Vishamana Sudevi Panamami Panchakalpatu Vachaki Pasindi Payivita Patidana Parivayo Vaishnavi Namo Namah Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namine Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharne Nirvishishya Shunyavadi Pashacha Deshitarne Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, this chapter is very sweet. This is Govardhan Leela. And a lot can be said about these verses. And I'm sure a lot has already been said about the pride of Indra. Actually, His Holiness Bhaddavikasa Swami, he said on this Vyasa-san, and he spoke about the pride of Indra. One thing about the Bhagavatam is you notice it's different topics that are stressed over and over again. Why? For our own purification. We can't speak enough about how we get puffed up in this bodily concept of life. We can't speak enough about the pride of the jiva as he falls into this material world. So in verse 24, the translation is read as, I'll read it again. When Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. Pulled down from his platform of false pride and his intentions thwarted, he ordered his clouds to desist. So you see this theme of pride is actually mentioned throughout the Bhagavatam. One thing that comes to my mind is in the 11th canto, the song of the Avanti Brahmana. For those who are familiar with this pastime, for those who aren't familiar with it, I can go through it briefly. There was this Brahmana, and he became too greedy. He started becoming obsessed with collecting more and more money, and he spoke very harshly to his relatives. He was very mean, and he displayed so much anger. So this Brahmana, him being a Brahmana, the duty of a Brahmana is to perform yajna, sacrifices. He neglected his duty. And because of that, by providence and by Krishna's will, his relatives, his friends, everybody around him became very angry towards him. They despised him. And not only that, his wealth gradually got depleted. So, as his wealth was getting depleted, this Brahmana, he became enlightened, you can say. And he spoke this verse. I'll read it very, very briefly. 23, 28. So after this Avanti Brahmana, after he became pulled down from his false pride, he says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari, who contains himself within all the demigods, must be satisfied with me. This is interesting. He says that Krishna must be satisfied with me because he pulled me down from my false pride. He says, indeed, he has brought me to this suffering condition and forced me to experience detachment, which is the boat to carry me over this ocean of material life. So this Brahmana, being a Brahmana, he was able to see that his miserable condition was brought upon to him because of the mercy of the Lord, ultimately. This is the Lord's mercy. The Lord's mercy comes in many ways. I'll speak about that a little later. But in particularly to Indra, the Lord's mercy came by smashing his pride. And ultimately, the demigods, they become puffed up because they're naturally in the mode of goodness, and they're illusioned by this false sense of happiness in the material world, thinking that they're the doer. So Indra, he became puffed up by this bodily concept of life, and because of that, he committed a great offense by trying to destroy the Rajavasis. So Krishna shows his mercy upon us by removing our false ego. Now this false ego is very, very subtle. In the material creation, you see there's different, you have, it goes from subtle to more gross. Okay? And this false ego is so subtle. It's so subtle. It's hard to even trace it. It's hard to even articulate where it's coming from. Nevertheless, it continuously binds us in the material world. Also, in this pastime of the Avanti Brahmana, later on, the Avanti Brahmana, he questions, who is enjoying this material world? Is it the body? Who's enjoying the material world? Is it the spirit soul? Who knows? What was the conclusion? What is ultimately the enjoy of the material world? Does anybody know? This Avanti Brahmana said it's actually the false ego that enjoys. It's not this, the spirit soul can't enjoy because by nature the spirit soul is intrinsic nature is to only be enjoyed by Krishna. So it's not the spirit soul that actually enjoys the material world. He says it's not also the body either. The body is made of dead elements. It's how can the body enjoy? So the Avanti Brahmana says that it's the false ego ultimately that enjoys the material world. And this false ego springs up upon that comes this false sense of pride. So Krishna, by his causeless mercy, and I want to speak about this for a little bit. What is the mercy of Krishna? Is Krishna's mercy removing all our material possessions and putting us in a sunken place? Or is Krishna's mercy giving us opulences? You see also in the 8th canto with Vamanadev in that pastime, one verse says that it's actually Krishna's mercy that if somebody's surrounded by opulence and wealth, if he doesn't enjoy it, that's Krishna's mercy. So what is it? Is it Krishna's mercy that he gives you opulences and you don't enjoy? Or is it Krishna's mercy that he takes all opulences from you? How to understand this? Ultimately, both is Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy can come in either way. But the point is, Krishna's mercy comes when he removes his false ego from this enjoying spirit. This enjoying spirit has bound us in this material world life after life. But Mukunda Dadabu quoted this verse in Vyasa Puja, Namakchita Sarva Durgani, Mat Prasadat Tarishasi, Atat Chitwa Mahankarana Shoshashi Vinangshasi. That by being conscious of Krishna, by understanding that you are not the body, you're part and parcel of Krishna, you can overcome all obstacles. These materialists are they have seminars on how to be successful. They have seminars on how to be great in this material world. But in the Bhagavad Gita is giving you the formula how to overcome all obstacles. What is that? Mat Chitta Sarva Durgani, what's it? Sada Tarishasi. That by being conscious of Krishna, by his mercy you will overcome all obstacles. By his mercy. It's not by you endeavor, but ultimately it's Krishna's mercy. By his mercy you can overcome. But if you don't hear Krishna, then you will be lost, overcome by false ego like Indra. So we have to continuously absorb ourselves in Krishna Katha. Tava Katha Mritam Tapte Jivanam. That for the conditioned soul, the soul that's burning in this samsara, the soul that's tired of struggling in this material existence, birth after birth, for that rare soul, they are the ones that can receive this nectar. They can appreciate it. They're the ones that can appreciate this bliss of Hari Katha. But the thing is, those who they're not able to relish this. Utkramantam sitam vapi bhujnam va gunanvitam vimudananu pashanti. These vimudas, they cannot see. They can't see how the soul can get liberated from material existence. They cannot understand the beauty of Krishna consciousness. The vimudas. However, like I said, by Krishna's mercy, he will put us through the fire or ordeal if we're serious. But who wants to go through that? Who's ready to go through the fire or ordeal to get rid of your material attachments? We sing every morning, Samsara Davana Lila Loka. So the fire is there either way. Either the fire of material suffering or the fire of ordeal. But Krishna says you decide. You choose which fire you want to put yourself through. But ultimately, Krishna consciousness Prabhupada says that a comfortable life and Krishna consciousness go ill together. Because the more you surrender to Krishna, it can be painful, not necessarily physically, but mentally, because you're giving up all these attachments, and the more you chant, the more you're realizing how conditioned you are actually. The more you try to get out of the material world, you realize how attached you are to it. The moment you think you're liberated, you are conditioned. You should never think yourself liberated. So Krishna, he humbled Lord Indra. He humbled him. He put him through the fire ordeal. By what? Just by the pinky, by his the pinky on his left finger. He was able to put him through the fire ordeal. And see, Indra is a devotee. In a couple chapters, I think chapter 27, Indra and Surabhi, Indra offers beautiful prayers to Lord Krishna. He's a devotee. He offers the most beautiful prayers. You can read this in the Bhagavatam. It's coming up. So, because of Krishna's mercy, though, by humbling him, he was able to come to his senses. He was able to realize how much of a offender he was, how much in the bodily concept of life he was. And ultimately, actually, you can look at your weather app. The temperature always drops right before sunrise. You can look it up. The temperature always drops a little bit before sunrise. Why? Before good things start manifesting in your Krishna consciousness, you're going to go through a lot of struggle. A lot of struggle. But struggles makes us strong. I can cite my own experience. To come back to that, in this verse, in verse 24, it says that his intentions were thwarted. So look, Indra had this intention to be worshipped. He had the intention to try to replace Krishna. But Krishna thwarted his intentions. Krishna, by humbling him, he put him on the right path. And I remember when I first started practicing Krishna consciousness, I was in law school. And I just met the devotees. However, I was still attached to mundane prestige, pratishtha, whatever. So I had a decision. I had an internship. I had some interviews lined up. I was in Washington, D.C. However, there were devotees from Christian life. They were in Atlanta, Georgia. So I was studying in Washington, D.C., which is the capital of America. I was studying there, and I was so absorbed in this false prestige that I was like, you know what? Although the devotees are in Atlanta, I want to be in D.C. I want to get the prestige of being in the capital of America. I want to have that. So I applied so many jobs I tried to get, like maybe 5, 6 interviews, shut down. And I couldn't understand, like, Krishna. I just started practicing Krishna consciousness. And I think I read somewhere in the Krishna book that Krishna fulfills the material desires of his devotees. So I'm like, Krishna, I'm a devotee. You can fulfill my material desire. I just want to be in D.C. I want to, have that pride of being in the capital. You shut me down. I was so frustrated. Like, why are you doing this? I see all my friends are getting jobs in D.C. I see everybody making all this money. Why? Why not me, Krishna? So I said, okay, let me just apply to some job in Atlanta. The devotees are there. Let's see. First place I applied, got the job immediately. I was like, wow, okay. So Krishna obviously wanted me to be in Atlanta. I couldn't understand at that time, but it was because the brahmacharis were there, Christian life devotees were there, and I lived in the brahmacharya ashram with them, and I was able to cultivate a mood of detachment. And after I graduated law school, I spent some time in the brahmacharya ashram. But if I would have went to DC, I probably would have not done that. So Krishna thwarted my intentions. He thwarted me because he was trying to put me back on the right path. Same thing with Indra. He thwarted his intentions. He put him on the right path. It was his mercy, Krishna's mercy. And it's most amazing, actually. In text 24, in the Sanskrit, it says, Ati Vishmitaha, most amazed. Indra was most amazed at the fact that Krishna humbled him. And the thing is, Krishna is always amazing, but sometimes we don't recognize his grandeur. We don't recognize his super excellence until we get humbled. So rather than waiting to get humbled, why not just submit yourself to the lotus feet of the Lord? Why wait to get humbled? The thing is, we're going to get humbled either by death, you know, we're going to get humbled eventually, either by force or by choice. So why not be intelligent? Why not choose to submit yourself to the lotus feet of Krishna through the medium of the Guru? So yes, Ati Vishmitaha, he's most amazing. Wonderful Krishna. I think that's the next chapter. Wonderful Krishna. He's so wonderful. He's so wonderful because in this age of Kali, he descends as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is his ashra in this age? His beauty. He doesn't come with chakra. He doesn't come with all these weapons. He comes with his beauty. He's so beautiful. The Lord is so beautiful. So beautiful. And the name Hare Krishna is so beautiful. It's most amazing. But as long as we're absorbed in this false ego, to the degree we are absorbed in the false ego body concept of life, to that degree we will be covered and we won't be able to appreciate the holy name of Krishna. To the degree we're freed from our false ego, to that degree we will be able to chant the holy name purely. So it's all a matter of our desires, it's all a matter of our intentions. Like in this verse, text 24, his intentions were thwarted. Even if you have bad intentions, Krishna will set you back on the right path. Out of his mercy. Although we're practicing, we're sadhakas, we're practicing the path of sadhana bhakti, but ultimately we're relying on kripa actually. You need kripa to even practice sadhana. You need kripa for sadhana. So, it's most amazing. The Bhagavatam is most amazing. These nectar descriptions is most amazing. So, that's just the first verse. I want to speak a little bit about the last verse with the purport. I'll read it again. It should be up. Can you scroll down to the word for word, or the translation? Okay, so it says, all the residents of Vrindavan were overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and they came forward and greeted Sri Krishna according to their individual relationships with him. Some embracing him, others bowing down to him, and so forth. The cowherd woman presented water mixed with yogurt and unbroken barley corns as a token of honor, and they showered auspicious benedictions upon him. So, it's a lot you can extrapolate from this. But if you look at the word for word, you don't have to go up. But in the word for word, there's one word is mentioned, sneham. Sneham, with great affection. Where does this come from? Does anybody know also? Sneham. It's also mentioned in Queen Kunti mentions this. Right. She says sneham. Oh, now I'm forgetting my own. Hold on, what she said. She says, Sneha Pasham. She wants to cut the material ropes of affection. This sneham, this material affection. So this sneha is exhibited in this verse. This affection between Krishna and his devotees. However, Queen Kunti is also saying sneham, but she's saying it in the material, cutting the material affection. So this material sneham, is a cause of suffering in this material world. This material love is a cause of suffering in the material world. Why? Because this material suffering bounds you to your false ego. This material affection bounds you to your false ego, thinking that you're the enjoyer, right? But these loving embraces that we're seeing after Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, the loving embraces between Krishna and his superiors and his juniors, this is purely spiritual. This has nothing, it has not a tinge to do with material sneha. It's purely spiritual. It's purely spiritual. So this Sneha Pasham that Queen Kunti prays, and this is binding. But however, in the Damodar Ashtakam, you have this Bhakti Badam. The ropes of it. Krishna is bound by the ropes of affection from his devotees through Bhakti, right? Just as the ropes of affection are binding the conditioned souls to the material world, the ropes of affection binds Krishna. How is this possible? How is Bhakti more powerful than Bhagavan? Because Krishna allows that. He allows himself to be overcome by the love of his devotees. It's his mercy. Krishna loves us so much that he becomes controlled by the whims of his devotees, his pure devotees. So ultimately, this material world is just a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. These loving exchanges that you're seeing in this pastime, you might see this in material world too. You might see somebody in the army, after fighting in the army, he comes home and he's getting, this affection from his kid. His kid is coming up to him. He's embracing his kid. His wife, he's embracing his wife. But this is material. So ultimately, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned this banyan tree, this Urdhvam Mulam Adashakam Ashvatam Prayaravayam Chadamsi Yashaparnani Yastam Veda Savedavit. That ultimately, Karmanu Mandini Manushaloke, we are tied to this banyan tree, the material world, by our karma. By our activities, we are bound to this material world. However, by the weapon of detachment, we will come to Krishna. And Krishna, by his mercy, he gives us that weapon of detachment. He gives us a weapon of detachment. It's up to us to use it. So, you see, like I said, you have this material sneha and you have this spiritual sneha. But ultimately, the gross materialist cannot fully appreciate the culture of Krishna consciousness. When you come in the temple, I see it with the devotees here, loving embraces, bowing down before each other. This is Krishna's culture. Krishna's he's pleased with this culture. Why do we wear dhoti? Why do we wear tilak? Why do we wear kontimala? It's because Krishna's pleased with it. This is his culture. Everything we're doing is for the pleasure of Krishna. Today is Ekadashi. Why are we fasting? It's ultimately for the pleasure of Krishna. Everything we do, we should make it a point in our life that every single thing we do, it should be for the pleasure of Krishna and his devotees. That is the way to get free from this false ego. That is the way to get free from this material sneha. By dedicating every action, every mind, every word to the service of the Lord and his pure devotees. If not, we'll just be swept away in this banyan tree of the material existence. Now, I was thinking about this in the Vyasa Puja, how fortunate we are. We're so fortunate. Bhavanam Jamanamante Ganavamam Pratite Vasudeva Saramiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. That is so many jivas have not come to the platform of surrendering to Krishna yet. But how fortunate we are that not only we come into association of devotees, but that we come in contact with a pure devotee. How fortunate are we? Even within ISKCON, there's so many bogus gurus. In India, I don't know so much, but in America, so many bogus gurus, so many cheating, so much deception. And we're so fortunate that we're able to come in contact with not only Krishna consciousness, but within Krishna consciousness, the right means of attaining pure devotional service. We're so fortunate, yet we don't take it seriously. We get comfortable. We get comfortable going day to day, just doing our Krishna bhakti. Actually, if you don't give Krishna consciousness to others, you'll lose it yourself. This is a preaching movement. Of course, not everybody's going to be in the front line. Just as in the army, you have those in the front line, and then you have actually only minority of the portion of the army actually fights. Majority is actually the support. There's the cooks, there's the medical staff, there's the engineers, but they're all understanding that the purpose of their duties is to push forward the front line, which is preaching. And this in the Sankirtan army, in this Krishna conscious Kali Yuga, especially right now, we have to make Sankirtan the center of our lives. Even if we're not on the front lines, at least we shouldn't be envious of it. We should try to go out and give Krishna to others. Because if you don't give it to others, you lose it yourself. And you should hanker for this, actually. You should hanker. It's interesting, what's this? Brahma Buddha Prasana Natmana Soshiti Nakangshati, that Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that you shouldn't hanker, you shouldn't limit. That's true. You shouldn't hanker for material things, and you shouldn't limit for material things. However, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you seen King Prataparudra. When he couldn't get Lord Chaitanya's association because he's a king, what was he doing? He lamented. He lamented, oh, how fallen I am. I'm so grossly fallen. He lamented. And this was purifying. And he hankered for it. So yes, you shouldn't hanker material. I'm saying you shouldn't hanker and lament for material things. However, this hankering and lamentation is very, very much conducive towards spiritual advancement. In the 6th canto of the Bhagavatam, Ajamil, he says, oh, when he comes to the Vishnu Dutta to save him, he realized how fallen he was. He said, oh, all condemnation upon me. How could I forget the lotus feet of Narayana? How could I forget the lotus feet of Krishna? And Prabhupada says in the purport that this feeling of regret, this feeling of condemnation can cultivate pure devotional service. So yes, many of you are very exalted. You were born in this land of Bharata. I wasn't. So I grew up committing innumerable sinful activities. By Prabhupada's mercy, I'm even sitting on this Vyasa. By my Guru Maharaj's mercy, I'm even sitting here. I'm not qualified to even be here. However, by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, I'm here. His own is Bhadvikasa Swami Maharaj said in the Vyasa Puja, any good qualities, he says, any good qualities that you see in him is by the mercy of his Guru. This is the mood of a advanced devotee. Anything you see good in me is by the mercy of my Guru. I have nothing to offer but the service of my Guru. That is it. So the point I'm making is, as far as the material and spiritual hankering, yes, we should have this hankering to push forward the Krishna consciousness movement, and we should lament that we're so much attached to this material sneha. We should lament about it. We should come to realization how fallen we are. We should never think we're liberated. We should never think, oh, I'm good, I'm comfortable, I made it. That is another form of Maya. It's another form of Maya. So this mercy of Krishna that he showed to Indra is it's ecstatic. His whole pastime is ecstatic because Krishna showed his causeless mercy upon Indra, and by lifting the Govardhan hill. By lifting the Govardhan hill, he lifted Indra out of his false pride. Varaha Dwadashi is tomorrow, and just as Varaha lifted Bhumi Devi up from the causal ocean, Lord Chaitanya is also lifting us up from the ocean of our attachments. He's lifting us up from this ocean from our material attachments by the holy name, by the tusk of his holy name. Lord Chaitanya is lifting us up. All we have to do is grab on. All Bhumi Devi did, she grabbed on to the tusk of Lord Varaha. All we have to do is grab on to the tusk of the holy name. It'll lift us up. It'll purify us. But how much faith do we have? To the degree we have faith in the holy name, to the degree we have faith in the process of Krishna consciousness, to that degree we'll be purified. It's all a matter of our sincerity. How sincere are you? Ultimately, we're all in this material world because we became envious of Krishna. And even within Krishna consciousness, we become envious of the Vaishnavas. We become envious of other people's position. We see, oh, this devotee is getting so much praise. This devotee is, he has a big position. When can I be like that? This is, Patricia, this is nonsense. This is not the right type of hankering. This hankering binds you to material sneha. This is not the type of hankering we should have. We should not hanker for some big position in Krishna consciousness. We should hanker as, Chitta Haribu was saying yesterday, we should hanker to be das. That should be our hankering. How much of a servant can I be? How much can I serve the devotees? This is the right type of hankering. So, in this pastime, Krishna humbles Indra, and after he humbles Indra, he shows affection to his devotees. And through this, we can understand the mercy of Krishna, not only in humbling Krishna, but also in associating with the devotees. And it's interesting, in this purport, I'll wrap it up pretty soon. It's the cowherd woman, they were trying to bless Krishna. They said, may you subdue the wicked, protect the decent people, give pleasure to your parents, and be rich with all wealth and opulence. You see this throughout the pastimes of the Krishna's devotees are blessing Krishna because they don't see him as God. They see him as just one of them. They see him as, oh, it's just Krishna, a wonderful Krishna. This is the topmost, we can't even imagine what Srila Prabhupada gave us. This is the topmost level of spiritual understanding. All glory to Lakshmi Devi, but even she can't even enter into this because she's imbued in the realm of awe and reverence, Aishwarya. She sees Krishna or Lord Narayana as a worshipful Lord, and she's in the mood of awe and reverence. But even she can't even enter into the Rasa Leela. But Srila Prabhupada is giving us the opportunity for us to enter into it. How glorious is this? This is amazing. I don't know, I'm fired up about it. I don't know why about you, but this is amazing. In the 7th canto, when Lord Nrsingadev was angry, only Prahlad Maharaj could calm him down. His pure devotee, even Lakshmi Devi, even she was bewildered. She couldn't even calm Lord Nrsingadev down. And in the 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna says to Uddhava that no one's more dear to me than you, Uddhava, not even Lakshmi Devi herself. This is his consort, his eternal. He's saying that his devotee is more dear to him than his eternal consort. And this is what Srila Prabhupada is giving us. And we're not intrigued by this. We're not excited about this process of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada is giving us the highest thing. All we have to do is take advantage of it. All we have to do is follow the 4 regular principles, chant 16 rounds. Ultimately, the 4 regular principles, more or less, they kind of control our gross activities. And it's 16 rounds kind of helps us with our subtle. Because you can externally not, there's so many pious people in this land, they probably have never, broken eating the 4 eggs, right? But subtly, they're so conditioned, they're so contaminated. Right? So this chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, by chanting your rounds attentively, this is the means. You have to chant attentively during japa. Japa is the most important part of your day, actually. Why are we not taking our japa period more seriously? Why are we not chanting? This is, by not chanting our rounds properly, everything else falls apart in our Krishna consciousness. I have experience of this. When you don't chant properly, when you're not attentive, it's the last offense, but the acharyas say that this offense causes all the other offenses. By not chanting attentively, all the offenses become manifest. You become envy of the Vaishnavas. You start equating the names of the demigods to Krishna because you're not chanting attentively. Not only should you chant attentively, you should hear attentively. When you're reading, are you not hearing attentively? In Bhagavatam class, are you guys not hearing attentively? The reason why you're not hearing attentively is because you're not chanting attentively. If you chant attentively, you can hear it properly. So, it's 8:43. I will close my class now. I'm pretty junior to most of you guys. So, as far as questions, you can ask me questions. However, I can accept some chastisements and corrections. And any comments if anybody has any comments. Anybody? Okay. Gaur Bhagavan Prabhu. Oh. Okay.
Roji, in the class you explained a point that if you do not give Krishna consciousness, you lose it. Like that you explained. Can you just a little bit explain about it?
Yes, so in this, especially in the Kali Yuga, this Yuga Dharma is Sankirtan. Okay, so there's so many different types of dharmas, there's so many types of yagyas, right? Like I mentioned Navani Brahmana, but he was in the Yuga where, you perform like, sacrifices, fire sacrifices, whatever. But the thing is, in this age, Lord Chaitanya specifically gave us a means to come to Krishna, and it's through Sankirtan, it's through Harinam. So when I said that, I was referring to the Yuga Dharma of Sankirtan. And when you give it to others, Krishna becomes very pleased with you, because he sees that not only are you not, actually, I want to backtrack a little bit. Not to be hypocritical, but Srila Prabhupada in one letter says that higher than even giving Krishna consciousness to others is to save yourself. It's just, so in one letter, I can try to pull it up, but pretty much Srila Prabhupada says that higher than saving others is to save yourself, because you can't save others unless you save yourself, right? And you save yourself by the process of sadhana. It's not like, okay, I'm just going in Sankirtan, I'm not going to chant my rounds, I'm not going to read, I'm just so concerned with the deliverance of others that I don't care about myself. No. By chanting your rounds, by following the process of sadhana, you have enough shakti and potency to give it to others. The point is that we just follow the Yuga Dharma. The Yuga Dharma is to give Krishna consciousness to others. That's the point I was making.
Hare Krishna. So, really very enthusiastic class. Thank you. That actually raises the question that how did you actually come to Krishna consciousness, and what really attracted you to this process?
Me?
Yeah.
Prashadam. Actually, when I went to my first, so I met Mahosa Prabhu in a park. He gave me some books. I was studying Buddhism at the time, so I was already attracted to this karma meditation. So I came to the Sunday program. They were chanting all these mantras, very foreign to me. I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, it's a whole different language. I grew up Christian, so I'm like, is this some devil music? I don't know what this is. But I tried it. I was like, let me just stick to the end. Okay, they were chanting Hare Krishna and then Kirtan. I was like, I'm not chanting anything. This is some devil music. I just stood there like, I'm not chanting. So it didn't come, and then Prashadam was served. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. I ate some rice dal. I'm like, oh, wow, this is nice. Had some sabji and chapati. I'm like, oh, wow, this is different. And then this has really got it. It was halava and sweet rice. Once I had the halava and sweet rice, I was hooked. I was like, wow, this is the best meal I've ever had in my life. And I kid you not, when I walked out that door of that Sunday program, I was like completely just a higher taste. I got a higher taste. I felt literally like just high on Krishna Bhakti. It was amazing. Actually, in the Brahmacharya Krishna consciousness, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, he makes the point that when you first come to Krishna consciousness, Krishna will give you some extra dose of mercy just to kind of reel you in, and then you got to work for it more. You first come in, you get, oh wow, and you're chanting around, it's like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why am I not getting the bliss? So that's kind of what happened. It really was prashadam for me. When I had the prashadam, I was like, wow, and actually I became vegetarian that day, and I came back the next Sunday program, and I started chanting, and it was a life-changing experience. But ultimately, it was the association of the Christian life devotees, because what happened was, I got admitted to law school, and then a month later, I met the devotees. But I was supposed to go to law school literally like in a couple months. It's funny, when I came to the Brahmacharya first time, I was like, yeah, I had to go to law school. My first time meeting him, he was like, Prabhu, don't go. Like, it's a slaughterhouse, don't go. Like, just stay here. And I'm like, I don't even know you, why would I not go? And like all my friends and families are excited for me to go. They're like, he's like, don't go, it's a slaughterhouse, don't go. So I went, and yeah, it was a completely miserable experience. However, I guess it's my karma or whatever. And but I kept in contact with the Christian Life devotees, and their association, I just realized that their association was so much better, more valuable than any association I had, materially speaking. Like, I'm in the classroom with, like, first of all, I was one of the youngest people in my class. Because typically people in America don't go to law school till they're like 30, but I went when I was 24. So I was the youngest person in my class. So everybody in my class was smarter than me, per se. But then I went around the monks and the brahmacharis. I was like, wow, these people are way smarter than anybody I'm in class with. So I realized that material knowledge doesn't make you intelligent. I came to that realization, like, because these are people who, they didn't go to college, they surrendered their lives to Krishna, they're quoting all these slokas, and I realized I'm like the dumbest person in this room right now. But in law school, I felt I was the smartest person in the room. I was the youngest, but I was the smartest person in the room. I graduated like top of my class, right? But then I was the lowest in my class at the brahmachari ashram. So I was like, wow, this doesn't make sense. You know, so that's what attracted me. Ultimately, what attracted me is prashadam and devotees. Devotees are, Krishna's all attractive, and he manifests his opulence is through his devotees. So yeah. Okay, I'm in the class there. Oh, you got one more question?
So you touched upon another very interesting point. You said that the gopis, and they were so fortunate that they were blessing Krishna. It's very much, you can see in this verse, this word akshata is being used.
Yeah.
It's very common, in India. You see the elders, if there is some yajna that happens, or the guru or the acharya, they always put akshata, and they are like superiors. They are very elders and superiors, and then they give the blessings. And it's so amazing to see here that the gopis moved, and the other gopas, that they want to bless Krishna. It's something amazing. It's that you can't imagine. This is the Vatsalya Bhav, and then the other higher rasas. It's so amazing. That's a very nice point that you made.
It is amazing. Krishna's culture is really, you can't really comprehend it. Like, you can't comprehend how Krishna's devotees are blessing Krishna. It just shows that they're imbued with so much love for him that they don't see him as God. They just see him as the object of their affection. It's really amazing. Nonetheless, Srila Prabhupada did tell us we should worship, in the mood of Lakshmi Narayana. It's not like we should artificially try to bless Krishna. Oh, hey, all blessing unto you, Lord Chaitanya. It's not like that. We're not, we are just sadhakas. We're still practicing the process of sadhana bhakti. So, but yes, the gopis, highly exalted, highly elevated. But His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Swami is making that point is Vyasa Puja. We can become like that. We can become like that if we stick to the process of Krishna consciousness.
Just one devotee was, I'm not sure who was that, he was just saying that you don't give blessings to the deities. Sometimes we are in the kirtan or something, they just keep hands like this.
Yeah.
And you raise get blessings from the Lord.
Yeah. Okay. Srimad